Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I can go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Seiha Bunkasem, and I am a after-school program director and a social or digital media manager over at GEM, which is just another nonprofit organization that works with kids.
Yeah.
That day, I was just the youth MC, but I'll just leave it at that for now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, tell me a little bit more about how you saw your role at the town hall. How would you describe what you were up to that day?
Well, I think I could describe it as just like doing my best to present the people in a way that I feel like they really deserve to be presented to. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Because, doing my research and everything, not only was it just fascinating to me, the work and the advancing they're doing for youth justice, but also just like I'm big on letting people be known or letting their actions be known or, you know what I'm saying, giving people credit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking about your research, I mean, you were so thorough. Everyone was so impressed. I mean, all the speakers I know were blown away. And then I had so many people from the audience come up and say, like, oh my gosh, wow. I mean, the way
Yeah.
that you were so thoughtful about what you said about everyone. And I don't actually know if you have too many thoughts on this, but I'd be curious, like, when you were doing those intros, like when you were thinking about each of the town hall speakers, like, what
Mhm.
was your process or like what were you thinking about when you were working on those pieces? Because yeah, they were so engaging.
Um, I think the biggest piece was again highlighting the points that were like their strong suits. So when I did the
Yeah.
research, just looking at their strong suits, also being able to meet them in person, it gave me an idea of how they were, or at least for, the ones that I did meet in person. But
Yeah.
also, I would like to just give credit to you because when a lot of people don't realize that you prompted or
Facts.
like you helped me do all the writing and stuff behind the scenes. So
Oh, I feel like I did so little. I mean, honestly, you were so creative and so intentional and thoughtful that it was like the easiest thing ever. But I loved collaborating with you. It was so awesome.
right, right, right.
What was it like the night of, like, what was it like being in front of, I mean, we've had COVID, we've had like different forms of like canceling big events and then, kind of coming back in the last like year or so. What was that like being in that space and speaking in front of all the people?
Well, I think from the COVID aspect of things, I think
Hmm.
it was just interesting to see all these people back in one space and everything kind of normal again.
Yeah.
And beyond that, though, I think it was definitely interesting because this is my second event with Team Child. So just for me to jump like
Right.
straight into it, right? So if, for people who don't know that, I had helped um, host and just help out with the electronic side of a previous event for the election of the King County prosecutor. And
Mhm.
now to just be thrown into it as a youth MC, it was just like, wow, you know? So
Yeah,
definitely
what
a
was it
blessing.
like? What, because those were two, you're right, this is your second event and they're very different. I feel like, I mean, there's maybe some similarities, but they're kind of different. Like, what does it feel like to have been part of two different kinds of, like, what did you feel like they were different? Did you feel like they were the same? Like, what
Mhm.
kind of observations did you have between the two experiences?
I think they were definitely different. The
Yeah.
biggest thing being the audience size, but also just
Right.
me 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 actually learning the information and like being an actual, not to say I wasn't a part of the other one, but the other one
Yeah.
I had less information and this time I had more time to prepare and you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it felt like a more
Yeah.
whole project.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a quite a journey. Yeah, because when did we start? We started talking in like,
Probably November or something last year or
well,
maybe
we
even
met at
earlier.
the prosecuting attorney event, but I think, well, yeah, maybe it was like January or something.
Oh, are you
Like,
talking about for this event?
yeah, for
Oh
town
yeah, yeah.
hall.
Right, right. Around I
Yeah,
believe
right, because we met before the election, so it would have been like end of October, I think.
mm,
Yeah, because I was there to like help do tech, and I'm so glad now that, I mean, I wanted to help with that event anyway, but it was so great that I got to meet you and Cameron and oh my gosh, what is Kendrick's daughter's name? Um,
Kalia.
Leah. Yeah. Um, it was so great to meet all of you. And then yeah, it like blossomed into this super awesome thing. Oh yeah, this is not totally related to town hall, but you got to come with us
Mhm.
when we did the filming for Councilmember Zahilay's keynote. And I'm just curious what um what stood out to you about that, or like what was that experience like of like coming along and doing the video work for that, what eventually became the keynote speech at the town hall.
Right, right. I think the biggest thing that stood out to me, which I feel like a lot of people when they see a person in a higher position, whenever they kind of
Mhm.
assume that they're a certain way, but really,
Right.
if council member's story and where he comes from, and just again meeting him, he's extremely humble,
Yeah.
very laid back and everything. But beyond that, it was just a nice experience to see the recording side of everything, like just
Yeah.
behind the scenes with the what was it? Is it called a telegraph, or the thing that they
Oh yeah, the
use,
teleprompter. Yeah.
teleprompter.
Right.
So yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
know. Oh my gosh. And your shout out for Jonathan at the event was so sweet. Like I
Mhm.
had some friends who were sitting at the same table with him and they all said that he like turned bright red. He was like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because it's just the I you got to appreciate the
yeah,
effort, and because having Germay not being able to be there,
right.
he made that possible to have Germay speak his voice. So
Yeah, yeah, that's real. That's so real. Well, everybody is gonna want to know. I mean, several people have asked me this already, and so I'm sure anyone watching this is gonna want to know too, like what's next for Seiha? Like what are you gonna be up to in your next
um
chapters?
After this first youth MC event, at least for me,
Yeah,
I believe that I do genuinely like to get up in front and speak to people. So
you're great at it.
whatever opportunities, thank you, I appreciate it. Whatever opportunities are presented to me, I will most definitely, take them. But beyond that, I just love working with kids, and I want to
Yeah,
just help the youth as much as possible in whatever shape or form I can. So
yeah. Oh, I love that. Thank you
thank
so
you.
much for sharing all of your thoughts. I really appreciate it, Seiha. This was so
Mhm.
great. I'm just gonna stop the recording now, which I maybe you know how to do that, maybe don't. There we go.